Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to another episode of Fahrenheit TV. It's Women's History Month, and we're celebrating it big tonight by having a great conversations with two phenomenal queens. We're going to be talking about media, politics, health, and more, and sipping on some great, delicious tea. Stay tuned.
Fahrenheit TV.
Thank you guys so much for joining us again on another episode of Fahrenheit TV. I am so pumped because it's Women's History Month. I mean, it's Women's History every day, but particularly in the month of March, we're celebrating the fierceness, the empowerment, the inspiration behind being a woman and what that means. And today we're going to have some great conversations about things, that's just going on in the world. So I want to introduce to you guys my wonderful guests and friends, which I'm really lucky to have that title with. I have Liz Halea here. Thank you so much, Liz, for being on the show.
Thank you for inviting me.
Of course, Liz. And Erika Leger on the show as well.
Yes, happy to be with you, ladies.
Yes, yes. So today, you guys ready for some good conversation and some tea? So we had some snacks earlier, but today the name of the segment is actually called Ataya. And the reason I named it Ataya is because when I got the wonderful opportunity to study abroad in Senegal in West Africa, we had tea. It was like basically green tea with a lot of sugar, like a lot of sugar, like almost like a cup of diabetes sugar.
Yeah.
But it was a really good moment to just like connect with people. You're drinking tea, you're having conversations, just kind of chilling out. In Senegal, they have like a whole process, like how they pour the tea and all that. But for the sake of time, we're gonna have our own Fahrenheit TV version of Ataya. So I brought some tea portions. So since we're having 3 different rounds of things that we're talking about, we could just have 3 different segments. So you guys can feel free to grab a tea bag.
Thank you.
Start that off. And I got some sugar. So, just to get ourselves comfortable. Because today we're basically, talking about what's going on in the world. It's almost like we're like the Golden Girls, just giving our opinions on things that's going on.
Now.
Yep, what's going down. So,
60 years prior.
Yeah, exactly, 60 years prior. But, just talking about what's going on. So, give you guys a little bit of water.
Thank you.
Of course.
Thank you.
Oh, okay. So,
You guys want to cheers?
yes,
Oh, yeah,
cheers,
let's
taking
do
our
it. Let's
first
do
sip.
it.
Here's to Women's History
Women's
Month.
History Month.
Women's
Yes.
History Month.
Okay.
Woo. That's a little hot.
A little hot.
Okay.
Yeah.
Hopefully not
That's
too
where to
hot.
start.
You don't have to finish it.
So I wanted to start off by what's going on in the media right now that's, been buzzing around. So I know you guys are kind of familiar with Nicki Minaj and Remy Ma, 2 great
Right.
hip-hop female artists.
Yes.
Within the last 3 weeks, these 2 names have been in the media a lot because of a diss track released by Remy Ma, particularly aimed at Nicki Minaj.
Yes.
And it's called Sheether. It's 7 minutes long. It hurt my feelings, even though she wasn't talking about me.
You felt it.
I
for
felt
Nicki.
it, yes. I felt it a lot. And I just wanted to get your opinion on it. Like, what did you think of it? If you had a chance to listen to her part and Nicki's part. I mean, basically, what are your reactions to it? Because the media has been going nuts, like going crazy over it.
I'm going to have Erika participate first because she might know a little bit more about the intricacies of this, but from a separate version, I'll offer my opinion after.
Okay, definitely. Yeah, so Erika, what do you think of this?
Well, okay, before I begin, do you think that it was good for the hip hop culture? Because everyone's saying this was good for the culture.
I kind of feel like, I feel like in music, especially in the entertainment industry, we always need something to hype it up, some drama. America loves drama. So I feel like it was good in some ways because it brought Remy Ma back into the spotlight, her name going around, so that's good. Because we're familiar with her, but Nicki Minaj was basically dominating the female hip hop side. Right. It was already like male dominated, so she was up there. So it definitely got her name out there. That's my opinion. So what do you think? So,
I thought it was definitely a disrespectful record, track, whatever you want to call it.
Yeah.
I thought it was more, you know how it's originally based on the track. The soundtrack was from Nas when he did his Ether. Now she called it Sheether. I think if you listen to the lyrics from Ether, like her lyrics are definitely more hard when it comes to
she's
Nicki
hardcore.
Minaj.
She gave us that street rap like that. You know, she's a lyricist, so I wasn't like surprised because you know she's not about that like bubblegum type of stuff. She's more
like a battle rapper. That's
like back in the
she's
day,
kind of more known for.
Yeah, exactly.
And
They're
so
from separate eras.
So I definitely thought it was crazy. And people were saying that she kind of hindered, like, you know, basically she could have just stand alone with that one disc record, but then she came back with that other one.
She kept, you know, like,
and it wasn't as good. And then that's when it gave Nicki Minaj, people were saying that was now a good time for her to come back.
And she came back, you know, she had Drake.
She did
and
come back, but I think
it
wasn't fair because why did you have to bring your friends with you?
Why
couldn't you know, it's a battle. It's you and her.
It's supposed to be one-on-one.
She could have had her boo with her.
It kind of came off like she needed kind of help. And that's no disrespect, because I'm a fan of Nicki Minaj. I do love her work. You know, it's catchy.
Yeah, they're both good at what they do.
But, you know, to come, it didn't match up to Remy Ma standards.
No.
But then I had a follow-up question to that, which is, do you think that our culture celebrates feuds between women? Because I feel like the reason why it was in the media so much and why people were just like so amped about it was because it was like two women fighting against each other. And it wasn't really like them fighting, you know, physically, but it's like, oh, wow, look at the battle. Like, they love that. Do you think our culture celebrates that instead of like celebrating the empowerment between women?
I think on a separate level, both of them in different eras, definitely. And that's why I'm happy that you said that this has brought more attention back to both of them because the youth as of now are phasing out of the Nicki Minaj phase. Remy Ma is from before they were born, the kids that are in high school now. And she's from the
lean back days, like lean back.
She's from High Squad.
Exactly.
Different styles and everything. But I think that their personas themselves did a lot to empower women because they were like, oh, I'm the boss, I'm this, I'm going to be aggressive, I'm going to be assertive.
And you have to be like that in hip-hop. You can't come off like, oh, you know, I'm kind of nice.
That's the thing. You're supposed to say that you're the queen of rap. You're supposed to have that confidence.
And it is empowering to young women in that respect. But as far as the media or the public being obsessed with women or people having feuds between each other, I think there's definitely a truth to that. But women, I think, should be able to argue, for lack of a better word, with other women, but they should also be able to do that with men. They should also be able to do that, like people within different races should be able to do that. And if
it should be open, it should be like, you know, this is your right, whatever.
Exactly. And if you're saying, oh, they're supposed to all, because they're the same gender, be aligned with each other and supporting each other, that's just not realistic.
It's not,
and that's kind of dehumanizing them in some way to consider that, because in order to be a strong, powerful, confident woman, you have to be able to know when the buck stops. You have to be able to know.
You have to,
you're non-negotiable
and stuff. And I'm glad that you brought that up, Liz, because you know that show Another Round. I think you're familiar with it. It's like a podcast. It's really, really great. So Remy Ma was actually a guest star on there, and they, you know, obviously they asked her about, you know, the feud and all that, and she said her quote was, people celebrate women attacking each other instead of working together. As women, you don't always see the value of us working together. So she said that. Because she said she wanted to like work together, but that's not how they arranged.
I heard. I kind of even heard like Nicki before. I don't know if she wasn't on the Breakfast Club, but 97. And she had mentioned it was right before Remy Ma was gonna get out of release from jail. And she had said that it would be like awesome if both of them were together on a song. But I do think it's kind of like, do you think if they did come out with a track together, it would have the same amount of attention as Sheetha had when it
just came out? See, that's the thing, because you know our culture, like you said, I love that you were saying that, you know, we should be able to like have our voice and everything, but I don't know. Like I don't know if it would be as strong and successful and powerful. Like I think I would love it. I think we would love it, but I don't know how the industry, especially it's loving the catfightiness of things. Like I don't know if it would have the same success in that term. So I don't know.
As I was reflecting on this, at the end of the day, that's a financial ploy from
exactly.
whatever record companies they have. And also like, okay, Jay-Z is going to cheat on Beyonce this month. This is going to happen with this person because they're characters.
Exactly.
People,
it's
but they're characters as well. They have two sides as a persona. But in addition, as far as considering who really represents a powerful woman, that kind of like more recently perhaps has created a cultural rift or a social rift. I think Young Ma earlier in the year, I think that was very powerful, but she's also newer. She's not really cut from the same fabric just yet. She hasn't really encountered that amount of money and success yet, but as a woman, to come out and be a strong lesbian, successful rapper, and also being able to override men who are in the same category as her. I personally know men who are like fans of rap, fans of hip hop, and they were like, I can't believe this is a girl. I can't believe I'm listening to a woman rap.
Like, oh, she don't even sound like that's a girl.
Yeah, like that controversy that brings up. It's just like, well, good.
Yeah,
like I'm glad you feel threatened.
It makes you feel uncomfortable because we're women, we can do anything, and I think that's awesome. So I'm glad we gave our opinions about that. Moving a little bit off of that. So the internet, because the internet just cracks me up sometimes. The internet there was a photo of Sierra. We love Sierra. We got Sierra concert. Remember that was really fun. We touched her hand, Liz. It was a magical moment. Awesome. But she was actually in the media, in the internet, because there was a photo of her bestie Yolanda sitting on her husband Russell Wilson, which is an NFL player. Her bestie was sitting on his lap, and the internet went kind of crazy, like, oh, what's going on? Or he must be cheating. All those rumors that, because the internet loves to do that. But besides that being their business, whatever that situation was, I wanted to know what your opinion would be if you were Sierra. Would you be mad at Russell that he initiated to your best friend to come and sit on your lap? Would you be like, nah, that's like my marriage. I know they're friends. I trust him, blah, blah, blah. I trust my friend. Like, what is, basically what I have, my question is, what is your comfort scale between your bestie and your boo thing? Like, what is the comfort scale?
Well, I think it depends on the context of what was going on. Like, if you look at the video, it wasn't on Instagram Live. It was like a spur of the moment type thing. It wasn't like, he wasn't really rubbing on her.
Yeah, it's not like they were caught on camera or something.
Like good friends. Come sit here, you were live. And what was she going to do? It was live. She's going to be like, no. And people were going to assume that there's something going on, or why did she give him that type of attitude? Okay. You know what I mean?
So you're saying it would have been more awkward if she said no, because people would have speculated stuff and all that.
But I think the way that he told her to come, it wasn't like he was doing anything. It was like
an innocent, almost like a sister, like a, I don't know.
I think it was a context. I think if they were like in a club and they had some drinks, I think it would be different.
What do you think, Liz?
I like that you pointed out the context of that, but separate of the loyalty of Sierra aspect. I watched the video last night, and it was Russell Wilson kind of announcing to Yolanda, okay, come give a shout out for Women's Month. But if you're telling a woman, if you're telling a woman to give a shout out to Women's Month in the spur of the moment, so she's the best friend, but she's also their makeup artist for the family.
Oh, okay.
So she works for you. You are her employer, her boss in some aspect, correct? And so think of it this way. Think of it as your employer, your boss asking you to come sit on your lap in front of an audience.
It's a bit awkward.
So there's a power and gender difference right there. But in addition, you also are pressured to do it in front of millions of thousands of viewers live. So in that, I don't really know what her loyalties could have or should have been, but I don't think that she personally should have came to sit on his lap. I think she should have been like from the distance below, but like I said, it's a social pressure and cultural pressure in that
That's
moment.
A whole lot of things in one situation.
She did seem a little bit like, she wasn't that comfortable. She didn't seem too comfortable answering the question. If you look at it, she was just a little like.
You can tell from the body language.
And maybe she did feel that way.
I don't know. Like I personally, like if someone was to, like if my bestie was to sit on my man Bruno Mars lap, like I don't think I would take. I don't know if I would. I'd probably be like, that's a little, you kind of, boundaries. It's a little awkward.
You have to have respect.
I got to be a little respectful. But I'm glad that, we gave our, so I think the internet should relax, because it seems like, they're doing fine as a couple. There's nothing, whatever people are saying, everything's good.
I just found that incredibly ironic. It's just like,
I know, that's like, when you said
the definition of irony. Like, your male boss inviting you to come to his lap to.
Woman, like, that's just too much in one set,
It almost kind of like.
So do you think if she wasn't live, then she would have kind of like opposed to like?
I think so, because if you're saying by the body language, she looks a little uncomfortable. She might have been like, wave or something.
Or even if there wasn't like a financial or social difference, if it was like, okay, this is going to be.
Financial is a big thing,
this is going to be like another, like, I don't know, football player coming to like do this as a joke, or this is going to be like an actress or like a Kardashian coming to do this. They could easily be like, no, I'm good with that. But it is a lot of social pressures, and that kind of dissolves the moment right there. Like you shouldn't have even attempted a shout out because you kind of stepped all over it with male dominance and all of these cultural aspects that go into it.
I don't think he even thought about it in that moment. He probably was like, oh, I'm doing him a favor. Yeah, I don't think he...
I think he was really relaxed.
Yeah.
I mean, this is the way he was
But these things are all ingrained into people's mentalities where once they reach a certain level in society or like if you can never experience what someone of another gender would experience, someone of another race would experience, unless you really kind of put yourself in their mindset, then of course you wouldn't create your perspective in that way, you know?
That's true. That's very, very true. So another thing I've been noticing that's going on the internet is a lot of like hashtags like gender lips. I know you guys are kind of familiar with that. Thigh gap challenge, like all of these ridiculous things we see on, social media. I don't know if you guys are kind of familiar with those, but I wanted to just get your quick opinion. Do you feel that social media is kind of like impacting our beauty, our culture? What is your opinion on that?
For me personally, I think it's impacting it, but everything when it's new, it could be dangerous in some ways, it could be scary in some ways, but it could also be good. For example, the internet, for example, like television, like people in the 90s did not leave the house, they just watched television. There are certain cultural aspects that have positives and negatives. As far as, because I work at a high school in Boston, and I have a bunch of students who are teenagers who are very susceptible to this. And in my class,
this is their world.
This is their world. In my class, I have a computer class anyway, so usually what's distracting a majority of my female students will be these makeup tutorial videos and this and that. But these girls are 15, 16 years old, and they can do their makeup better than I can every day. Like, it's great.
It's awesome. I love that.
I'm happy with that. And in one aspect, it's cultivating a confidence for women and an assertiveness for themselves, their image.
Like they don't have to be in school to be professional at this or be good at it.
Not that. Like, for example, not to get way, way off the subject content, but my favorite book is Antony and Cleopatra because that book kind of embodies, a woman's power is through using her strength of her sexuality, her strength of her confidence, her strength of knowing herself. And that is very true when you go to look at how makeup and appearance in young women affects how they carry themselves and affects how they're valued. Kylie Jenner, I think, is making more money or like generating more money and attention now more than anyone in her family.
That's true.
And she's like makeup, a symbol. A symbol of makeup, a symbol of the same exact part of the culture. So I think there's something to be said for. Yes, it's bad that kind of we're distracting them from other things, but it's giving them a part of their identity and confidence that the generations prior did not have.
That's true. Well, I'm going to come back onto this question. We're going to go to a quick PSA right after the break, and then we'll continue this great conversation.
This month is National Women and Girls HIV and AIDS Awareness Day, and we are encouraging all our queens to get tested and know your status. The sooner you know your status, the sooner you could be on the journey to wellness, whether you're HIV positive or not. Make it a health routine because your health matters, ladies. To learn more about free testing sites in Boston, visit our website at www.FahrenheitTV.com or by visiting www.cdc.gov to find out more about how you can be part of the movement and get the information and support you need.
Fahrenheit TV.
Hi everyone, thank you so much for still sticking with us with these great conversations with these phenomenal queens we have on our stage tonight. So we're just gonna go right back to the conversation. We were talking about the impact of social media and our beauty standards on our culture and our society. So what is, Liz gave us a great response to her opinion about it. Thank you so much for sharing. I agree with you 100%. What do you think about that? What do you think about the impact of social media on beauty, our culture and our society?
I think the impact, in a lot of ways, it's 50-50. So there's oftentimes it can be positive, but then oftentimes it can be negative with like a lot of body shaming going on social media. And because you're on social media and you're using your phone or you're on a computer, it's just really easy for you to express yourself in a way that you necessarily wouldn't do if you're in person and you're meeting with someone. So I feel like with someone like Kylie Jenner, who I think she's had like plastic surgery, stuff like that, and people trying to do the Jenner lip challenge.
It could be really dangerous. It could be insane
for people to do. And I think for a lot of young people, they just have this perception of what it means to be beautiful or perfect. And I feel like they're trying to mimic or they're trying to have themselves look exactly like a Kylie Jenner, where she kind of has been under the knife before.
Yeah.
She's done certain things.
So she's also been trying to look like something else too as well. Yeah. It's a lot of pressure, but I feel like, don't you feel like that pressure's always been around? I feel like forever, like that pressure of like wanting to fit into a beauty standard.
Yeah, but then like with someone like Lauren London, like I don't know if you guys heard about that, how she recently gave birth to like I think her second child.
Okay.
And
she popped right into shape or something?
No, the opposite. And people were why aren't you at the size that you were before? You're not attractive right now.
What?
Like, lose the weight
She just
now.
had a baby.
Yeah.
My God.
That's ridiculous.
Yeah, but that's the dangers that you're saying. I mean, the realistic things, like, you know, obviously she's not going to pop right back. Like, come on. But why would you body shame her? She just gave birth to a child.
But
like,
she clapped back and she kind of had her response for it and saying that she loves her body and this is who she is and she'll lose the weight when she's ready to.
Yeah, if she wants to, too.
Yeah,
if she loves her body, that's her business. So
exactly.
Yeah. Well, I'm glad that, you know, we're aware of this and we're aware of what it's doing to our culture. And I know you guys were definitely aware of the Women's March this year, as well as A Day Without a Woman, which was just last week on International Women's Day, March 8th. So what was your reaction to that, seeing the Women's March? I mean, for me, I didn't get to attend the march, but I did. I mean, it was massive at the Boston Commons. If you were trying to get anywhere that day on the train, let me tell you myself, Fahrenheit TV viewers, it was impossible. Like, basically, like, it was so packed that I just decided to take an Uber. But it was awesome though, to see so many women, you know, like going to the march, and I mean, seeing the images from all around, you know, the U.S. Like it was just like it was beautiful. You see all the pink hats, the signs, all that stuff. But you know, I know people have mixed feelings about the march. What do you guys think about the march?
I did not go to the march myself either, and I didn't participate in A Day Without Women. But obviously, we're all women here.
Yeah.
And I remember some of the listening to like news and different people's critiques who did attend.
Yeah.
One thing that was very big in the media was having the Women's March was good because it conveyed so much unity within women.
Yeah.
But also at the same time, it reflected the amount of I don't know, the non-harmonious parts of society. For example, there was a big critique that a lot of like Caucasian women were obviously in a very high attendance in the march.
But
very
they
high
weren't
attendance
into other marches.
At the same time, they're standing up for women at Black Lives Matter rallies. At the same time, they're not standing up for women who are within the immigrant community who could potentially be facing deportation soon.
Yeah.
And it's kind of a reminder, any conversation is better than no conversation at all.
Yeah.
But it's kind of a reminder that we still have to kind of work in our society and make sure that everyone's unified and everyone's together. But having everyone struggle with the same struggle, having everyone have the same enemy, is kind of one way to make this unity work better.
But so I think that was like, I guess, a positive thing that happened after the election type of thing. Yeah. How about you? What was your reaction, Erika?
I agree with Liz in that sense that it's like a benefit for all of us to be. You can look at it as a really positive thing for all of us to be together in one place and to kind of be able to voice our opinions and try to create change. I think it's something that we definitely need. But trying to think about different ways for us to move forward with that aside from the protest.
It's a little hard. How can we
move forward after we do the protest? Because I know a lot of people, you know, they do want to make the change, they just don't know where to go or how to start or what organizations to join.
Yeah, it is. It's kind of overwhelming because it's just like so much going on. But it's also like, I like what Liz said is about like, you know, there's a lot of other struggles that's been there forever. Like, you know, Black Lives Matter, transgender things, like so many things, so many issues that like, it's like it's people, you know, obviously going to choose what they want to battle, but it shouldn't be like that because it should be. It's a unified problem in my mind. Like it's all of our problems because that's our world. That's, you know, we're all together. So I don't know. Like the next
need to
steps,
kind of create like a system where everyone's opinions can be heard.
But it's good, like you said. At least you both said that, you know, at least it's creating dialogue. You have one enemy that everyone definitely doesn't like.
I think that's important.
You know, that's a good start right there. But
exactly.
There's a lot more to do. And did not participate in the Day Without a Woman? I didn't either.
No.
Is there a reason why you didn't?
Well, I work at a school with like high school kids. I work for a nonprofit. I think I'm the only employee.
Oh, okay.
And I work in a school, so if I were to Like, I love what I do. If I were to take off work for the day, it would be, once again, ironic.
Your students
it would be ironic. I have a
Yeah.
majority female class. So, like, I interact at school with majority female students. If I were to abandon them for that day for my own gain or societal gain, then I wouldn't feel right.
Yeah, same. And I think I remember there was a lot of conversation because I too didn't have that privilege of taking the day off because I have to pay the rent.
Exactly.
But you know, I did think about that. Like, there's a lot of women who didn't get that privilege to take that day off, and I know that's what they were talking about. That's why they were striking and stuff. But I think we, besides, you know, talking about like the gender wage gap, we do need to like be aware of stuff like that too. Like, there's a lot of people who don't get that opportunity to, you know, take days off, and because of, you know, not only them making less money, but
there's so many different issues that we have to like cover and make sure all these opinions are heard.
Yeah,
I think it's like really important.
Yeah, exactly. So other things that's been going on in politics is, you know, our new Education Secretary, Betsy DeVos. You guys are familiar with her. Yeah. I'm not. I'm not. I guess I can comfortably say I'm not much of a fan of her. She recently came out with a bill called HR 610. Are you guys familiar with this bill?
This is the bill that will prevent public school children from adequate and equal education across the board, right?
Yep.
Not education, nutrition.
Nutrition,
sorry, right?
Yep. So it will cut off those type of fundings.
Yep.
It will cut off a lot of funding for ESL learners. It didn't say anything about children with disabilities, so I would assume that they would probably cut that off too. I will read it to you right now. AP classes for minorities, rural education for the homeless, school safety, meaning like gun-free schools and all that. So basically, it will cut off a lot of things. And the language that they're saying is that like it's gonna give people like I guess vouchers or whatever to like pick the schools they want. Like the language that they're doing it, the way that they're wording it, they basically are not telling you the truth. That's really gonna cut off a lot of stuff.
You're trying to package it in a nice way.
Yeah, they're trying to package it in a nice way. So it's a bill. It hasn't been passed yet. It's just, you know, like a proposal. What are your opinions on that? Like, how do you think it's going to? Do you think it's going to impact public schools a lot? Do you think that it's going to put the students in jeopardy, the teachers? I mean, the nutrition part for me, like, I'm just thinking about that. Like, how about if, you know, that one free meal that kid gets that day is their only meal? Like, if you cut that off, like, how's that going to work? I mean, there's a lot of different bad things that could happen if this was to get approved. What would be your opinion on that?
Yeah, I definitely think it would affect students of like public schools. And it's crazy. I'm just thinking of how it was for me when I was in high school or middle school, and like the different programs that were offered to me and that were available, or that I did want to have, and to think of this proposal that could be in effect. I mean, I think it's just absolutely crazy, and we need programs like that.
Yeah, we do.
I mean, it's important, it's essential for us, and especially to aid with the learning process. And it's unfortunate to think that it could affect public school students. I think it's unfortunate. Yeah. And I really hope it doesn't get passed.
Yeah. How about you, Liz? I mean, you work in the education system.
She's directly affected.
Yeah, how do you, I mean, you're a teacher. How does this affect you? Like,
I'm gonna try to compartmentalize my answer because otherwise I might like foam at the mouth.
Okay, that's fine. I appreciate it. Yeah.
So, for example, in many aspects, education is a career change for me because I had the opportunity through federal funding and grants to have like an assistantship last year. And work with kids, and I was like, wow, I'm pretty good at this. And
you're great at
in addition, there's so many other people that aren't good at this. In addition, there's so many other problems within public school that people are just scratching the surface of. And there's also so many services that are they're new, they're meeting the bare minimum requirements. There's so much more work we have to do in order.
There's always more work, especially in public education.
And as far as, I'll just give you a little excerpt, as far as education vouchers and creating a more separatist solution, that is a terrible idea because it's supposed to be an equal country, it's supposed to be an equal opportunity for education, opportunity for survival, which is obviously what education will sermonizes. But for example, the main points where this is going to hit, where you have pre-K elementary education, cutting people's access to that and reducing the abilities for younger children to have classrooms, that affects their educational attitude for the rest of their life.
Lives, yeah, exactly.
How they have patience, how they can learn to enjoy reading, learn to enjoy cognitive thinking.
Yep.
A kid's brain will develop more between like birth and 5 years old.
Yeah.
And a majority of the funding aspects will affect these kids directly. Separately for older kids, so if you look at like the violence problem in Chicago, if you look at in Boston, I'm from New Bedford originally, and that's an extremely, compared to Boston, does not have the same resources, has an unemployment rate, last time I checked, around 10, 11%, which is very high. Yeah. And like smaller median income and lesser education. But in Boston, I feel very grateful that the students I work with in the high school have these federal vouchers to begin their first job at, I don't know, a nonprofit organization and get paid.
Like Year Up or stuff like that.
And to get paid to maybe work for, I want to say like TD Garden and build their resumes and build their social
network
skills.
And stuff. And,
And
see that they can
it
do
completely
things.
changes their life. Like going forward a generation and so on, coming from parents who aren't necessarily born in this country.
Yeah, your first generation, it's even harder. Yeah, definitely.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And without these resources, I can only imagine where these kids would be in the future. And looking at other parts of the country that don't adequately fund education or award education, I can only imagine the social ramifications that would happen if this were to be approved through Congress. Luckily, from what I've observed, Congress is combating as many of his orders as they can. The second travel ban was just rejected again
I don't even
by
know
Hawaii.
what the second one, by God.
By Hawaii and another state. I forget the other state. So our Congress is fighting for us.
I hope so, because I'm getting a little worried, just to be honest with you guys, because it's just like, I can't watch the news anymore. I mean, I really get it from like social media and stuff. Just, whatever pops up, and sometimes I'll read into it more, Huffington Post and stuff like that. But like, I get scared. There's nothing ever good. I never really hear a lot of good stuff.
Not a lot of good
especially
news
from this administration. Like, it's only been less than 3 months, and they have definitely like shifted so many different things.
The year has already passed by with him being president.
Like, they just started.
I'm not sure if it's completely true, but on social media I saw a small video clip from Al Jazeera, and it had said that in these 2 months or what have you of Trump being president, although there have been all these sensationalist stories about wiretapping and his daughter's brand and everything, his cabinet has pushed, not approved, but pushed 2,000 bills to Congress. 2,000 in 2 months. 2,000, yes. They haven't been approved, obviously, because as of now, Congress is acting very socially responsible, but they've made initiatives to make 2,000 bills. Our country isn't in that much disarray.
I'm not surprised because you think about it. He's always on Twitter.
Again.
I don't feel like this man really sleeps, so I feel like he had those times to like really write up all those bills, like Bill 1.
Like he got his people.
Those are only one sentence long.
Oh my God. So he's under 140 characters, like he's doing like a Twitter thing or something? That's insane. So what do you guys think so far of like, the travel ban? I mean, the transgender one, that really like I feel like really affected me because I felt like that was so, do you guys know about the transgender one? The ban that would basically wouldn't protect students if they want to go to the bathroom or whatever like that. There's been a lot of stuff that he's been doing. There's probably so much. If you could choose one thing, especially because I know that they're trying to cut Obamacare indefinitely. They've been, doing a lot of proposals, going back and forth. They just came out with the Trump budget, which, if it was to get passed, it wouldn't go until October 1st, until the 2018 fiscal year. But a lot of things they're trying to cut off a lot of things, like in terms of like education, environmental, health, all of that's being cut off a lot, and they're trying to put more funding towards like homeland security, military, all of that stuff, the wall. What are your reactions to these type of things you're hearing? Like, what are you feeling? If there's anything you could tell them nicely or something.
It's just a way to speak to.
There's a lot.
I don't know. There's just a way. I don't know. Like what necessarily I would say to him. I think it's just like emotion that would just. Overwhelming emotion, trying to restrain myself, I guess. with the president. But basically, I think it's just crazy. Like you were saying, how it's like difficult for you to look at the news, just because every time you do see something, it's always kind of something negative that has to do with what's going on in terms of like the ban. I just think that's absolutely crazy.
I think he put us in a lot of like risks for that when he did that ban. I
Definitely.
couldn't believe that. I was like,
just to be so bold and the way that he carries himself, and he can be like extremely arrogant with the way it's just crazy. So especially for a president nowadays, and how he's always on Twitter and he's always referencing some of his The Apprentice that was on and like crazy stuff like that.
He's a reality star.
Pretty much. And I just can't stand it.
Yeah. How about you, Liz? How are you feeling about all? I mean, I know this is a lot. It's a lot to ask you, but
so the original question was if I could pick like one
thing you could say to him. I mean, like,
I don't really know if I have words because
no,
it's not. I think if I could talk to maybe the public instead of him, I think talking to him would be futile. But for people to know their own rights, for people to defend their own rights, be involved in their community, stop purchasing and giving power to the bigger businesses, so like conglomerates, like not conglomerates, but larger corporations such as Bank of America, such as Walmart, spend your money locally and wisely and invest in your own community. I think that's the most empowering thing.
To me, I feel like, I don't want to say too much too, but I feel like there's like a, looking for me, but I feel like there's like a revolutionary or something, because I feel like there's only so much that people can take before it's like, it's bigger. It's more than just a march. It's going to be a lot. Because, I mean, especially if you have all these fundings you're trying to cut off, you're putting a lot of people at risk to even more things they have to deal with. I don't know, but I will try to stay optimistic for all of us. And again, I'm glad that you said that, you know, make sure you know your rights, make sure you invest in your own communities and yourself, and, you know, and just keep trying to stay strong, because, I mean, and put your voices out there. I always like when I'm on social media, especially on Facebook, if they say any, like, you know, like, oh, like when this bill, like that's how I found out about this bill, like the 610 bill, when they put that out and they're like, oh, make sure you reach out to your local senators and blah, 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 and write letters. Like, you really should do that because our voice does matter.
That is a power.
It is a power, so we should really invest in doing
First Amendment power that you're still entitled to. Now with this new administration, there's been, due to the disruptive protests. So, for example, I think it's in Arizona or some states, they want to make it illegal to protest if you're blocking a freeway and if you're doing that. But when you start to take away those protections, you're starting to ebb away at First Amendment rights, which are essential to the fabric of our country. Even though we're not a democracy anymore, we're a democratic republic. A lot of people don't know that, or confuse that. But we need to be ensured that we're protecting our First Amendment rights. He's been blocking out news organizations, credible news organizations like CNN.
Yeah, he's against CNN. He is not
from press conferences. And that's unheard of. It's just
But I mean, that's the power thing. Like when you're trying to take over, you're like, nope, I'm gonna not make. You're not gonna be able to do this. You're not gonna be able to do that.
Yeah, basically they just say whatever they want. Like his administration, like whatever they say is what is fact.
Yeah. What are the alternative facts? Stuff like that. Yeah. Well, we know our own worth. We know our power, and we know that our voice matters. So I hope that you all will keep that in mind and continue to fight and stand up for yourself. Right after this break, we're going to continue this conversation with some more tea, topics, and more good stuff. Right after this.
Fahrenheit TV.
Hi everyone, thank you so much for still tuning in with us and being part of these wonderful conversations. We are here with Liz and Erika, just sipping on some tea and just talking about what's going on in the world. So we were just talking about some heavy, politics. It's a little bit of a heavy conversation, a lot of things are going on in our world, and I know it could bring a lot of stress and anxiety to people. I mean, I know for me at least, like we were talking about, I don't really like looking at the news and stuff, because I don't feel like I see a lot of good stuff. So I'm really thinking about like self-care. Like, how do you both practice self-care, and why do you think it's important? Because I really want the viewers to know, like we were talking about, standing up for your rights, all of that great stuff, but it's also really important to practice self-care because, this could get all overwhelming. So how do you practice self-care, and what would your advice be to someone, how they should practice self-care, or, what they should do to continue to make themselves happy despite our times?
Oh, like you mean ways that you...
Yeah, ways that you keep yourself happy.
Yeah,
like if
uplift
it's like
yourself.
you uplift yourself. Yeah.
Well, first I'll just say surrounding myself with great people that are positive, like you guys. I think that's key, just to have a good core group of people that uplift you and you in a sense kind of uplift them. And then also I think kind of just educating yourself and reading up on different topics that are positive, and I'm all about sisterhood.
Yeah, you
I think
definitely
that is
are.
something that's definitely important. Yeah, I'm sure I have. Yeah, and also like body positivity. I think that's important to embrace and to try to change different concepts that might be negative in the media, and just to try to see the positive in that.
Yeah.
And also with the Black Girl Magic, I just had to bring that up.
Yes, talk
with
about that. Yeah,
Black Girl Magic, and I decided Farrah was in it. I
Can you
interviewed
tell
her.
the audience a little bit about that project? What the Black Girl Magic project?
Yeah. So I can't remember the name of the founder. I don't know if you remember, but I can't remember the woman that founded it. But Black Girl Magic is kind of something that people use when you see Black women doing amazing things, accomplishing great things, and that you find is inspiring. And we've seen that time and time again with maybe famous people on social media, or you yourself have noticed that with someone that that's phenomenal.
Yeah.
And so I decided to interview Farrah and a couple other friends that I have that I thought were amazing, and basically that was what inspired that interview series. So hopefully you guys will see that soon.
Oh, definitely, yeah. We need to see that. That'd be awesome. So what is one example that you do for yourself? Like if it's like, I know you're a big fan of your sister Beyonce. Is that like, having like a jam out Beyonce theme party? Or is that like, looking
in the mirror? Beyonce like release party where we listen to...
This is Beyonce's other sister that lives in Boston. And when Beyonce's album came out, she had an album release party. Oh, I think it was so funny. It was so cute.
I do involve Beyonce a little bit with my therapy to calm myself
so that's good.
down.
That's
I think
good.
that would be one.
That'd be one? Yeah, that's awesome. Is there anything else? Like sometimes I know some people like, I'm just gonna get my nails done. That's just me time. That's whatever, or whatever you want.
I think, that's music. I guess music with Beyonce.
Yeah.
And I think just kind of watching movies or shows on Netflix and stuff
that's
like that.
good. Yeah.
Relaxing.
Good, fun, funny. I know you love comedy and all that. Yeah. So that's awesome. Yeah.
I'm trying to think of anything else that I do.
Yeah.
And I guess,
That's
writing.
Good. Yeah. Writing is good. It's very therapeutic,
Yes,
which is
I love
awesome.
writing.
Yeah. How about you, Liz? How do you practice self-care?
So my favorite thing to do if I'm not working or sleeping or doing anything, I'm like a workoutaholic. I love to work out.
Oh, that's good.
It's super.
Yeah.
Fitness is super important, and like it's good because like it's like the same thing you said with like taking a day off of work. It's not a privilege that everybody has all the time. Like, I just think, and I'm super into fitness because one half of my family are in the Army, all that.
Oh, that's awesome. That's awesome. Yeah.
So like I'm super big into fitness, nutrition.
Yeah.
And like also when I was in college, I drank so much, and like I worked at Dunkin' Donuts. I was just partying and like around bad food.
So funny.
But like now that like I'm a little bit older, I always had this in me innately.
Yeah.
But I think taking care of your body and like your longevity is extremely important because it's your longevity, your health is everything to everyone around you.
You want to take
It's your
care
temple,
of it.
and then you have social responsibility to your friends, your family, to be here. Like,
yeah,
you know
that's true. Yeah, they need us around, so we gotta keep ourselves healthy. Yeah.
So and also like the more you take care of yourself, I've just started doing acupuncture too. Anything to do that. Yeah.
I love that.
Scary, by the way.
Yeah,
Like
I love it. I love
it.
It's relaxing. It's definitely relaxing.
So it's relaxing for sure. And there's some pressure points that are more of a pinch than others.
Okay.
For me personally, I did it to de-stress because as far as like I don't know, everyone needs a bit of a ventilation, but my opinion of therapy is not always good because it's also focusing in on your problems, focusing on the negativity instead of the positivity.
Yeah.
But with this, it literally, the first time I got it done, I'm new to it still, but he gave the needles to me in different pressure points, and in the dark, I was just giggling to myself for 10 minutes.
You're just laughing?
Yeah, because it releases all of your, all of your endorphins. It's a magnetic thing.
That's
in your brain.
Yeah,
that's so
that
cool.
like connects to. Oh wow, that's awesome.
Yeah, so it releases
That's cool.
all of your endorphins, and separately, it's good for your circulation.
Yeah.
It's good for everything. So.
Laughing is really healthy, so that's
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah, I just think self-care and also being morally sound.
Okay.
Being morally sound, being positive yourself, kind of trying to think. Yes, it's good, like you said, to surround yourself with good people, but in the case that you can't, in the case, because we all have negative people in our lives, make sure that you're communicating with people positively. Make sure that you're doing your part to make sure in your soul you're good, even if someone's swearing at you, like at a traffic stop.
Yeah,
or
don't let that,
your coworkers or someone in your like personal life is inescapable. You can always find your inner peace, and that's very important.
Yeah, and I'm glad that you said that. Make sure you listen to that inner voice too. And if you need to get away from that person, that thing that's making you feel uncomfortable, do that. Do what you got to do. That's awesome. And not only, self-care is important, but, I'm a big advocate about, health in terms of like, mind, body, spirit, but especially because I know sexual health is a taboo subject still in our country. But it's very important because this past March 10th was actually International Women and Girls HIV STD Prevention Day, and I'm a HIV youth advocate, so I'm always, trying to do like little doodles to tell people like, go get tested. But really, you do need to go get tested because there's so many like things that like we don't want to talk about or it's uncomfortable. But making sure that you get tested all the time, and if you are positive, like if you're HIV positive, you definitely could have a good, long life. But the better that you get, the faster you get, treatment, that'll be better. So I'm always encouraging people to do that besides sexual health. But, so we talked about mind, like self-care and all that other stuff. But making sure that, you're having these conversations and asking your doctor questions and, doing your research and all of that good stuff. And I want to make sure that you guys are healthy and happy. Yeah, that's awesome. So I'm glad that we had this conversation a little bit about health. But we're going to, after this short break, we're going to actually play a game called Name That Queen. It's our version, Fahrenheit TV version of Taboo. Oh. And you queens could win a prize. Yay! So it'll be a short little game, and then we'll come back to this. So stay tuned.
Everything starts out small. The things that hurt us, they all start from somewhere. The words we say, the things we do, that can grow into something else. What was small and innocent can become big and sometimes scary. All it takes is one comment, one picture, one video for something to catch fire. But a big problem doesn't need a big response. Not at first. Even if we don't know what to say, the eye emoji can be that first step we take. Let's all pledge to take that first small step together and change the world in a big way. I'm a witness, and so are you.
Fahrenheit TV.
All right, everyone. So thank you still for tuning in to Fahrenheit TV. We're going to play a quick game because, it's Women's History Month and we want to just celebrate all the great women. We can't celebrate all of them, but we're just going to highlight a few, great people that are doing great things by playing a game of Taboo. So the object of the game is you're going to flip the card, and you have to make your opponent guess who you're talking about. You can say anything except the person's name on the card. You have 1 minute on the clock on this time capsule thing. All right, Erika, you want to begin?
I will grab the card.
Okay, and begin.
Okay, little black dress. Designer. 1950s.
Little back dress, designer 1950s.
Oh, that's when she was around. Popular brand name.
Chanel.
Yes. Yep, boom. Next.
Oh my God. Can I pick another one?
Yeah, you can pick it if you don't know. If you don't know it, you can keep going.
Okay. She's friends with Justin Bieber. She has a talk show.
Who's this?
She has a daytime talk show. She's blonde, short hair.
Blonde, short hair.
She's in a lot of commercials. She was married.
What?
She was married to Portia.
Portia from.
De Rossi.
Wait. Portia. I'm blinking out. I don't know.
You know.
She's like.
She's friends.
She
Okay, I
has
think
like
I'm
a
hooked
lot
on the
of.
Justin Bieber part. Wait.
Yeah, she got Justin Bieber. Like she's one of his closest friends. She helped him get him
Not
famous.
Celine. No, that's not her.
It begins with an E.
I'm blinking out.
It's
What
okay,
was
it's
it?
okay.
Who was it?
It was Ellen DeGeneres.
Yeah.
I was not thinking about her.
Okay, we'll play another round. So that round, Liz won. Okay, ready? So your turn. Ready? 1, 2, 3, go.
Classic queen talk show host. Has her own network. Yeah.
That's easy. Okay. You got the easy talk show one.
Yeah.
She was a singer in the 1950s. She has a bunch of hits.
They don't.
Initials AF.
Aretha Franklin.
Woo! Good. Go ahead, your turn.
Oh. Oh, so sorry. I'm
It's okay,
too
it's
excited.
okay, it's okay, it's okay.
Oh my God. Like, this is my sister. You have to get
Beyonce?
it.
This is good. We can do this. She's married to Barack.
Michelle.
Ooh, that's good, that's good.
Oh, sorry.
Let's go
Oh my God, I
through
can't take it off. Famous tennis player. She's a boss.
them. Serena Williams.
Great. Time's up. Okay, so we'll do one more round and then that's it.
Okay.
Okay. Oh, we only have 1 minute clock, so we can't really do one more round. But it's great that you guys did all those cards.
no, we did good
Yeah,
stuff.
that was really fun. That's awesome. So I wanted to talk a little bit about you. What are you guys doing? How can people connect with you? Liz?
So if you guys want to connect with me, I'm actually going to be living in Boston until June 1st. I have a job in New York City afterwards. I'm very excited. But in the meantime, regardless of where I live, if you want to connect with me, my email is lizhyella@gmail.com. And you guys can send me an email and give me a shout out. Let me know if you want to partner with me here or there, get my opinion. And yeah.
Awesome. Great. Erica, how can people connect with you?
Hi guys. So you guys can connect with me. I have my website. www.erikaleger.com. You can find my work and you can connect with me that way.
Awesome. Well, I want to thank both of you queens for being on Fahrenheit TV. This was really fun. It was great to sip some tea with you, some Ataya, a Fahrenheit version of Ataya, and have these great conversations. So thank you guys and happy weekend.
Thank you. Yeah.